Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Not as serious of an injury as Aaron Rodgers had last year, but he did have season-ending wrist surgery 6 months ago. Joe says it feels great. I think he said verbatim, I am stronger.
What else can you say? Oh, I feel like crap.
Well, yeah, no,
of course.
He could say that.
He wouldn't.
But he's out there. He's fully cleared for everything he said outside of contact right now. Says he's feeling stronger. He looks bigger. That's what all the Bengals people are excited about that. And I feel like Burrow's actually done a pretty good job of bulking himself up over the past few years. It's just a matter now trying to stay healthy, trying not to take some of the hits that he takes. But he says, what's driving Joe Burrow? My why, his why, Jack, is always just continuing that drive for greatness, continuing to drive every day, trying to improve. I'm addicted to getting better. There's nothing like that feeling of getting better because it makes the day-to-day really worth it. Some inspiring stuff from Joe Burrow. So, Ziggy, when you look at the situation for Burrow and the Bengals, I know you're pretty down on the Ravens this year. Do you think that is this a situation where you expect the Bengals to seize control of the AFC North again and be the number one challenger to the Chiefs?
This is the year where the Bengals have to prove that their Super Bowl run wasn't a fluke. Now, I don't think it is, but if you look at the years they've had sort of surrounding that really excellent run, they have not looked like a contender like the Chiefs or even like a team like the Bills, who people are comparing them to. I know the Bills haven't made the Super Bowl, but if you look at how consistently have they been a contender, the Bills have sort of had the Bengals beat there. Mm-hmm. But this is sort of the opportunity. It's the last year of
right? I mean, the Bengals
every single postseason we have entered, the Bills have been a contender. In like the past 4 years. Yeah. The Bengals cannot say that. Indeed, the only other team that can say that is the Chiefs.
I mean, the Bengals only because of Burrow's
injury. Bengals outside of last.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like you can say it's just because of Burrow's injury, but like that's where they are, right?
Fair enough.
They've had one good run with healthy Joe Burrow.
I mean, they were in the championship game and lost.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad run. I am saying that if they want to show they can repeat it, this is the time, because this is the last year before Joe Burrow's huge cap number kicks in, before you have to get rid of T. Higgins, who I think is going to play on this tag. Hendrickson, I don't know what his deal is, but like they finally put hopefully everything in place with a better offensive line for Joe Burrow to take care of business. Because soon you got his big number in. Jamar Chase is going to want to get paid. Like, you only have so much time, right? And as we've said, right, the Steelers, they're in a transitional period, right? They don't have their quarterback of the future. The Browns have whatever's going on with Deshaun Watson. The Ravens are an excellent team, but they just lost a bunch of pieces. You have to be able to strike now. And I think that they can, but winning the division's not going to be enough for this team. They're going to have to make a real playoff run in order for this year to look successful.
And this is a tough division for them, too.
Oh, you guys are great.
I mean, we're fantastic.
I meant your division.
No, the division, like this not said in stone the Bengals win the division. I think the Ravens win the division again. But it's hard not to say that a quarterback who's 3-1 against Mahomes, who's beat him in the playoffs on the road, like it's tough to say now, him back, hopefully fully healthy, is not the biggest competition to the Chiefs. I mean, the only team who has really beaten them in this conference in the last however many years. I'd say it's probably them or Baltimore, whoever wins that North. Then one more funny point I want to bring up. When did the Bengals win the Super Bowl? They won 2022?
2022, yes.
2022. And then they made the AFC chip the year after, right?
Yes. That's when they remember the penalty at the end of the game. Shoved them out of bounds.
Yes. Yeah. And then this past year, they missed the playoffs.
They were coming on, then Burrow got hurt. Yeah.
Burrow got hurt. So, do you see how those deep runs, the coach does nothing?
Oh, jeez.
You see how it's all...
We're not doing this.
You see how it's all Joe Burrow?
Yeah.
We're not doing this.
You see how it's all the quarterback?
I do think that this season...
No, but to go back to answer the question, I'd say fully healthy Burrow, yes, probably the team the Chiefs should fear the most.
We're going to talk later about some of the quarterbacks with the quarterback maybe with the most pressure on him to be a hero, Superman for his team. But Joe Burrow, he belongs in that discussion for this upcoming season, especially when you talk about the expectations for the Bengals. Jamar Chase is there, but Ziggy, you mentioned the two guys, Higgins and Hendrickson, both upset with the contract. Joe Mixon's gone. Whether or not you liked him or not, I think Joe Mixon is better than Zach Moss. Like, that's a downgrade at running back. Offensive line should be very good, but this defense as a whole, You still have like arguably your most important piece is your defensive coordinator in Lou Anarumo, but there's a lot of questions on that defense. You bring in some more safety help this year, but you lost some guys too. You lost Awuzie, you lost DJ Reader. The defense was not good last year with a lot of the same dudes who were on a good defense the year before. So there needs to be fixes on that side. So with so much up in the air with Cincinnati, both in terms of the personnel and I'd say the overall contentment of the roster, I think Joe Burrow is under a lot of pressure as a leader. Especially coming off a big injury to come in and that's the thing that Joe Burrow does so often though. Like he's so cool, he's so calm in these situations that when he comes into the games, I think he's arguably the second most trusted quarterback in the NFL. But he has a lot of pressure on him to carry this team to reach the heights that they want to.
And they're what they have top 5 Super Bowl odds right now, don't they? What are they, 3 or 4 right now in the Super Bowl?
I think they're tied. They were tied for 4th. Yeah, and they should because they have the star quarterback.
Yeah, and some of the problems on the defense should be fixed by getting Von Bell back in there, by adding Geno Stone.
Yep.
Adding Trent Brown to the right tackle, even though, you worry a little bit as he's starting to get old. He's a reliable right tackle. Sheldon Rankins is a player coming from the Texans who's at least pretty good at his job. Like, again, it's the goal, and I think the standard is I don't think they were satisfied losing in the AFC Championship. I think they want to go back to the Super Bowl, and they can. But they're going to have to show, like really nobody else in the AFC besides them has shown that they can beat Patrick Mahomes again.
I mean, if I'm the Bengals, I think I'd honestly prefer to lose the North and play on the road.
just because he's so good at it.
Their one home playoff win, they looked like kind of crappy against the Raiders, barely beat them. Then they can go on the road and beat these powerhouses.
And they beat all the top teams.
I'm rather get like a 5 seed, lose out to the Ravens, and go to Baltimore, beat them in the playoffs.
I mean, they're doing it better than anyone else of clicking at the right time. It seems.
So the Road Warriors.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Like the 06 deal.
I mean, what were they last year? 1-4 or something? I can't remember the record, but they got off to this horrible record. People are talking about them. I think we even had a clip come out saying, yeah, they're probably done, and they rip off 5 or 6 wins or whatever it was before Burrow. When Burrow got hurt. If he hadn't got hurt last season, I actually think the Bengals were going to win the Super Bowl.
It was the same thing happened the year before, weren't they? Also 1-4 and did the same thing.
The slow starts and then they weather the storm. And when they get hot, I mean they're very, very tough to beat.
I can't wait for our Week 5 video. It's like, are the Bengals in trouble?
Yeah, are the Bengals in trouble? The Bengals. I think we said the Bengals are doomed.
Yeah, we did.
And to me though, I believe in our predictions episode. I had them winning the Super Bowl over the 49ers.
I know you're just foolish, though.
Yeah, I think I picked them the year before, too. So eventually it has to happen, right?
I think I had Steelers, somebody, I forget who.
Lions. That's just delusion. Delusion.